but it's the government of the politicians, government of individuals, government that doesn't know what it means or what South Sudan is, because a lot think they know South Sudan, but they don't know South Sudan. South Sudan is us. We are the citizens of South Sudan. Yeah, we are the citizens of South Sudan. And they're treating us as if that South Sudan belongs to them. Because they have been making decisions, we keep quiet, we don't do anything, we don't say anything. So to them, they think they have defeated us. And they can make decisions, take South Sudan left and right, do whatever they want. But we're here to remind them that we are the South Sudan. South Sudan is not you. Without the citizen of South Sudan, there will be nothing like government. So if you don't know that, we're here to remind you that without we, there's no you. And the earlier you realize that, the better for you. Something very important that I want to remind the government of South Sudan, which to me, I don't call you government, but you have the name because you exist in papers. We South Sudanese will take back our country very soon, if you don't know. Very soon. It will not take long. Soon we are taking back our country. So before I talk or I give my message, I want to read the agreement that was done today by politicians who think they own South Sudan. Let me read. Parties agreed to proceed with 2026 election without census or new constitution. President Salva Kiir Mayardit on Wednesday convened a high-level meeting with leaders of political parties to map out the final phase of South Sudan transitional period and prepared for the December 2026 election as outlined in the peace roadmap. Following the meeting, SPLM Secretary General Dr. Akol Paul Cordet said the parties had unanimously agreed to amend key provisions of the revitalized agreement to remove remaining obstacles ahead of the polls. He noted that these changes are aimed at ensuring a smoother transition into the electoral period. Dr. Akol revealed that the political leaders also resolved to defer several pending tasks, including the permanent constitution-making process and the national population census, until after the election, according to him. So there will be no census that will be done in this election of them, and then there will be no permanent constitution. So they're going to do an election without census, so they will not know who are their voters, how many of them, from where. So it's not going to happen. They say they will do it without permanent constitution and without counting, which is making sense. According to him, these programs will be treated as top priorities for the next government once the country enters a fully elected phase. So to them, when this government is already elected, then they want to now make sure that it's going to be a priority, top priority for the new coming leadership, according to them. The parties further agreed to form two committees, one comprising representatives from political parties to deliberate on unresolved issues, and a legal committee to be chaired by the Minister of Justice to oversee the required legislative amendment. Officials say the meeting reflects a renewed committee among political actors to steer the country toward a political transfer of power and strengthen democratic governance. Many hope that proceeding with the election while postponing the census and constitution proceed will help maintain momentum towards stability and set the foundation for a more cohesive and peaceful nation. So before I give my message, I want to ask some few questions, and these questions are going to the South Sudanese, which this election is going to be done to. One of the questions is, do you feel confident that elections held without a census or a permanent constitution will truly represent your voice as South Sudanese? Second question, how important is real peace to you before holding elections? Can election be meaningful without security and stability? Second question. Let's go to the third question. And this is questions for you, citizens of South Sudan. Do you believe the current political leaders are prioritizing the people of their own power and international image? What challenge will you face as a voter if registration and polling stations are poorly organized? Question 5. If elections are held without proper preparation, how can citizens verify that the results are fair and accurate? Question 6. What does real democracy mean to you as a South Sudanese citizens? Question 7. How will you like to see political parties and government ensure that your vote truly counts? What are your expectations for the next government regarding the census, constitution, and peace building? So these are questions that I prepared for you, that you should be asking yourself these questions before, because if I will have wait for this up to tomorrow, the government will think that we like what they are doing, or we like them saying they will do election without census and permanent constitution. That's why I had to come out today and tell them that is a lie. We, the South Sudanese, we don't want election without census and permanent constitution, election where there's no stability and security in the country, election where the people are hungry, there's no food, there's no infrastructure, there's no electricity, there's no education. There's nothing in the country. The only thing that is there is people dying. And before I continue, I'm here to remind the government of South Sudan, which I still call for President Kiir to step down, because he has failed the country, he has failed the citizens, he has failed the martyrs, he has failed everybody that have contributed and fight for this country that we call South Sudan today. He has failed everybody for 20 years, and it's high time he should step down. So this election you are talking about is not like the corruption, the money that you wait the date, whereby the money is brought and you go pick in NIPET's office. It's not the money that you divide with V8. It's not the money that you're used to corruption and doing deals on phones. This is an election. It needs preparation. It's not something that cannot be done just like that. So you are joking. You are joking with the people of South Sudan, and we will not accept that. We will not accept that. We will not accept what you're trying to put to us. So let me go to my message. Election in South Sudan. Why we need census, constitution, and real peace. Because we have different peace agreements that have been signed. After the 2011, there were peace agreement, because the first one that was signed was in 2005, which was violated, and then another one was done in 2008. Now we have a census that was done in 2008 before the independence, and in 2021, and I'll go through to them like step by step. South Sudan plans December 2026 election without national census, permanent constitution, raises serious questions about legitimacy of that election, fairness and transparency. Peace, census are very important in any step that we want to take in something like election. People to talk about election in South Sudan. In 2008, a census was done and the population was estimated. It was not accurate. It was not done the way it was supposed to be done, but it was estimated to be 8.826,000 people in southern region and of Sudan, the part of Sudan. Since then, in 2011, there was no any census that was done. We just went to referendum. In 2021, there was another estimated survey that was done, and we came to 12.4 million people. It was still estimated. We could not say how many, but it was an estimate, and that was the number of the people, 12.4 million. So by then, there was no census that was fully done. It was based on estimation. So can election be fair without knowing the real number of voters? Because if election, we are going to election, then who is voting? Because you must know who are your voters, or are they targeting everybody, including children? And with the voters only come from South Sudan or other South Sudanese who are in the other part of the country. So to me, an election can never be fair without voters, because you can't, it's like a ghost election. You don't know who is going to vote. You just assume. So it's, to me, I nickname it ghost election. How will displaced populations, refugees, and international movement be counted? How are these people going to be counted? Or is it just going to be part of Juba? How is it going to be conducted? This election without census and without a permanent constitution, without peace in the country, with there's insecurity every corner, burning downs in every market. Soldiers are sleeping on street because there's no food. They are hungry. No food. Hunger is killing them. Children are being bombed when they're doing exams. A country whereby they have enough money to hire weapons to kill their own people, but they don't have money to buy simple things like fire brigadier to stop a fire. Is that a country? And you are talking about election and controlling fire in custom, you could not manage. And you are talking about election. Do you know what is election? Election need preparation. There's no corruption in it. It's not a shortcut. There's no shortcut in election. We need to make sure if we want to talk about election, we need to do census. We need to know the age of the people. From which age to which age are going to vote? We need to prevent fraud. So how are we going to make sure that fraud and corruption is prevented? By voter registration. We have to register all the voters. So that we know in this election that we are going to do is not just election for politicians to continue being in power, is election for the people of South Sudan to have a permanent peace. And that permanent peace cannot come in the situation we are now. It's not possible. When some part of the leaders are being trialed, and some part of the leaders who think they are so good at trying the people they think are wrong, what are you talking about? Are you just dreaming about election? We need electoral boundaries and fair representation. We need enough logistic, polling station, ballots. We need infrastructure. We need, which schools are you going to conduct the election in? And children are studying under the trees. Which schools? Or which building? And the government doesn't have offices that they have built in the villages or in the counties. Where are you going to do this election? Where are the polling stations going to be? How are you going to transport these ballot papers for the voters? So that means it's a ghost election. Transparency. We need to verify the results. And how can we verify the results when there's no even, people are still using trial. People are still climbing on top of the hill so that they can be able to call. There's no network. There's no electricity. How are we going to count this? How are we going to make sure that these results are verified? So that is a serious joke. I still call it a ghost election. We need a permanent constitution. Why do we need a constitution, which is the supreme law of the land? We need a constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. Because the constitution is what will hold these leaders that are going to be elected accountable. Because if really going to be an election, then these leaders that we are going to elect will be accountable to us. It's not going to be like this one of today, you are appointed, tomorrow you are removed. No, it's going to be a real government whereby the leaders, the politicians will be accountable to us. Whereby if your MP is not working, you'll be able to remove him and bring in and elect another leader, another MP. Remove a mayor and elect another mayor. So this is the government. If we want to talk about electing leaders, it's not going to be like these leaders that are being removed in and off. No, they are going to be leaders that will be accountable to us. Leaders that are representing us. Leaders that are making decisions but influenced by our needs as the citizen of South Sudan. So when you're talking about election, don't think it's going to be like this one of a fake government that is removing and no. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be people government. A government that know a child need education, need to sleep in a good place. A government that will know the importance of infrastructure. a government that will know the importance of development in the country. So this is the government we are talking about, a government that will be elected by the people, for the people to represent the people. That is the government we are talking about. That is the government that we will elect, not a government that you just come together and you think that you can have an election from nowhere. So the kind of government we are looking for is not that government that you're thinking in your mind. So the government we are thinking, if one day really South Sudanese we are going to have an election, then we are going to have an election and elect a government that will represent the people, for the people, by them. So that is the kind of government we are going to elect. So the government that you are dreaming in your mind, you are imagining, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. So this constitution that we are talking about, this constitution, it will be the rules. It will be the body that will govern the government. Will say the roles of a president, will say a role of the citizens, will say a role of everybody, the youth, the women, the children. It will be speaking to us, so that when something happens, we will have this supreme law that will be referring to, because it will be the representative of the people that we can always refer to. So how can you tell us that we are going to have an election that will bring peace to the people of South Sudan, but there's no constitution? It's not going to work, because the constitution, it will now give our all. It will give you your duties, how the government will be run, how these people will be elected. This is what we are talking about. This is the one that you are saying that you will not have, you can do without, and it will be done later, so that the leaders will just do again laws that will only represent them, that will only speak for them, will not speak for us. It cannot happen. We cannot go to election without a permanent constitution that will be speaking for us. It cannot happen. We cannot accept it. So you just continue with your drama, but imagining that this will happen, but we cannot have a ghost government in South Sudan. We already have ghost leaders. We already have a ghost government. We already have that devil government. But today, no. It cannot happen. You cannot tell us that you have decided that you are going to election without census and permanent constitution, and it's going to go ahead and it will be okay. And it cannot work. We cannot accept that one. It will not work. It's defined, this constitution that you are saying you can do election without, it will define the electoral system, the people that are going to elect, right? Who are going to do the election? The IEBC, the Electoral Commission. This is the constitution, is the one that will tell us how these people are going to do the election. So without the permanent constitution, then they can never be. There's no criteria on how the election is going to be run, because the constitution will give us the criteria on how this committee will run this election or this IBC. It will protect my right as a citizen, and it will also protect your right as a leader that will be appointed that time, because now we don't have leaders. So those leaders that are going to be appointed, the constitution will protect their right. So without the constitution, I, the citizen, I don't know my rights, and you as a leader, you don't know your rights, and you will not know your roles, because the constitution is the only one that can give us our roles and can protect us, the citizen, and protect you and protect everybody. So telling us that you are going to have an election without census and without a permanent constitution is a big joke. And it's like you are telling us, South Sudanese, that we don't exist, that you don't value the country, you don't value us, which we cannot accept. We have refused and rejected and say no to that. It will provide the legal frameworks for dispute. In case something happens, in case a leader, because it will explain maybe if a leader died, if a leader did something bad, if the people don't want the leader again because they are not doing the work, this is the constitution. This is the legal frame that will speak to these people and will tell us what that needs to be done. So you cannot tell us that you will do an election without a permanent constitution and without census. If you sit down and rethink again, how do you picture such a disabled government? Does such a disability government, such a blind government that can be elected, that can be formed without a permanent constitution and without census? In which place can this happen? And this same constitution that you say you can elect a government without, he is the one that will tell us if you are abusing your power that the people gave you, like the way now you are abusing the power because we don't have a constitution that is speaking for us. We don't know our right as the citizen of South Sudan. And you are still telling us that we will continue not to know our rights and you will continue to treat us. It cannot happen. So we cannot have an election without a permanent constitution, because you will mistreat us again. You will exploit us again. You will treat us bad again. So this election you are saying you don't know, it will prevent the abuse of power when we have the real government we are looking for. A government of the people. A government, our government. A government that will remember a widow. A government that will know a child who doesn't have anything. That is the government we are talking for. A government that will know there is this woman that woke up very early in the morning, go to the farm, pick some kudra and okra and take to the road. So you have to make sure there's a road for that woman to be able to provide for her children. This is the government we are talking about. Not a government of without legs and hands and eyes. That cannot be a government. We cannot accept. Continue with your drama that you're having, but not a new one. We will make sure we fight so hard that you don't bring a government who doesn't know a youth. Because that government is a government that will continue to exploit us, will continue to treat children badly, will continue to not to remember the youths. The youth are 65% in South Sudan. But what are they doing? You have turned our youths to be nothing. Our youth are suffering and they are very educated. They are the most, we have highest number of degrees in South Sudan. But where are they today? You know how to make sure they go to school, but you don't know where they are going to get the jobs. We don't want a government that will not provide capitals for the youth to be able to do their businesses, for the youth to be able to be successful in things, because South Sudan will be built by the youth. So if you don't remember the youth, if you don't plan for the youth, then how can that be called a government? And to you, citizen, Can you trust an election without a permanent constitution providing your rights? Because now we don't have our rights. We don't know our rights. And because they appoint themselves, remove and put, we have left them. But now, again, they are telling us we are going now to vote a government with our own hands. A government that will not tell us what is our right. Are you going to do that? Because this government, it's not, they will say that after they're already in the position, they will say you elected us. This is what they will say. After you put them in the place, they will say it was you who put us in this. We were elected. You elect us. They will not accept to come down because you elect them, and they will make a permanent constitution that will speak to only them, that will only give them right, that will not care about you. How can you accept again to continue to be exploited, to be mistreated by a government who will not care about you? Especially the women. The women in South Sudan are facing this so much. How will you accept somebody to come and lie to you that you are going to give them a vote, that you are going to vote for them, and then they don't know your children today? They are killing your children. People that are talking about they are going to bring, like, how is that possible? Even cows have a rule. The way the cows are being treated in the camp, they have rules. We have lodge and we have dip. So when a cow comes, they know where they stand, where they are. The government of South Sudan that we're having today, even cows are more organized. Goats are more organized than them. And they are here to come and tell us that they want to, again, do election without census counting us how many we are, without them even doing voters registration, without even having a permanent constitution, and they want to tell us they want this. It can never happen. If you do that, you will remain a servant for these people forever. And are this election means to serve the people or just political elites? Because if this election is meant to serve me, to serve you, then that means they will prepare an election that will care about me. Election that will speak to you. Election that will solve your problem. Election that will solve my problem. But this election, are they just bringing it so that they can show the world that at least we did an election and people will keep quiet? Because it's like a drama. It's like a show off. It's hypocrisy. How can you want to come and tell these people that you want to bring an election without census and constitution, which clarified everything? Because the constitution speaks everything about the election. And you want here to come and tell us this? No. This election they want to do is not for us. It's for them, so that they can continue to be in power. And after being in power, they'll come and tell you we cannot come down because you elected us. And you, innocently, you put them there, but they don't know you. Without census, without a constitution that will speak for you as a citizen of South Sudan, how can you have such a government in 21st century that you want to elect people without preparation? It cannot happen. We will not accept. We will not sleep to make sure this election doesn't happen. We will do our level best to make sure this election doesn't happen. Unless a lot of things are done. We have a lot of experience and lessons that we have learned from South Sudan. Number one, in 2005, the CPA ended the war with Sudan. But after that, what happened? It was violated. In 2015, in 2013, the worst thing happened in South Sudan. Because the war of 2013 have paralyzed South Sudan, have made South Sudan the way it is today. It have made South Sudan that South Sudan is not the same again. If we are looking for a problem of South Sudan, the problem of South Sudan started in 2013. That is what is paralyzing the country. And we don't address the things that happened in 2013. If we don't address this problem, then we are lying to ourselves. We cannot be talking about election. Because election is for who? When we have wounds in our hearts. Election is for who? When there's no reconciliation. Election is for who? If when you already divided the country, you already divided the people, you already divided, put people back to their tribes. You want this community to think about themselves, this community to think about themselves, and you have succeeded in that. So how? This election you are going to do for who? When we don't even have food in the country. When we don't even, for 20 years, Eritreans had to come from Eritrea to fetch water in Juba for you. How is that possible? Eritrea had to come from their country and bring water for you. Is that an achievement? Egypt had to give you generators instead of you opening your own dam. Is that development? So why are you talking about election when you have a lot of things to be done? There's flood everywhere. There's anger everywhere. You have a problem to solve. Recently, we had another issue that happened in custom, burned down. And then today you came with this drama. Instead of at least picking one problem and solve it, you come with a drama to you want to do election without census and permanent constitution. You think we are just ball that you can play with and turn and throw and bring back? We are South Sudanese. We are people. We know our rights. We know you are not teaching us, telling us, but we are learning from other countries that have democracy. We are learning from countries that have done election. If you are not aware, South Sudanese are scattered all over the world. So some of them are in countries that have democracy. So they know what it means to have a right as a citizen. So if you think we are still blind, that we are still stupid, we are not. We are wise. We have learned. We know enough. Ask us, we will tell you what we know and how elections should look like. Ask us, we will tell you how elections should look like. Now people have gone to a level of counting election with drones and everything and using. Have you seen the system that have just come up in Kenya? A system that will make people not to rig election, to steal election. Did you see that system? And you are now talking of you want to make election without census, when other countries are already now working on how to make sure that the election is not rigged. You joke too much. You joke too much. 2018, we have the R-axis. And this R-axis, it was signed. When the document was signed, everybody was so happy. We thought actually something is happening. A small piece was seen, seeing the leader signing, forgetting that this is the same document, because how many documents have been signed in the papers? And it's papers 24/7. We have thousands and thousands and thousands of beautiful bills, beautiful agreements, which only remain in the papers. After 2018, what happened? Now, the chief staff and the other one had to do another drama so that they can get the first vice president, put him inside, and continue doing that drama again. And you want to talk of election today, that you want to do election in December. You think December is very far? We are not. Things strings that can be pulled all the time. When we are keeping quiet, it's not because we cannot do anything. There's nobody that is happy in South Sudan. If you don't know, ask. Including your wives and your children. They are not happy because where will they walk? The environment is not safe. They hide all the time. They're only in their phones all the time. Why? Because where will they go? You already destroy where they can go to. You already destroy the community. You already destroy everything. And you think your children will succeed. No. There's another thing that will work on with them. And you already know something is already working on that. You partially implement some part of the 2018 peace agreement. You are now delaying it and you cause insecurity. Now we are stuck. And you want to leave this problem of the 2018 peace agreement again with delayments and insecurity that you have caused in the 2018 peace agreement, the R-axis. You want to leave it for us and jump to another election. Leave this one because you are used to every day. You sign this peace agreement, you leave it. You sign this peace agreement, you leave it. Then you want to leave the one of 2018. And then you want to jump to perform another problem so that you can continue to kill people. It cannot happen. It cannot happen. We will not let that happen. You must make sure this problem you have caused, the 2018 R-axis, this peace agreement that you signed, that you have implemented some part partially, and then you delayed again, and then now you have caused insecurity and you want to jump out of it, you must remain inside. This peace agreement is your last agreement, this peace agreement. If you don't know, this peace agreement is your last agreement. It's your last agreement if you don't know. There's no other agreement you will sign. We will not accept you to sign another problem for us. You like jumping every day. You change agreements like clothes. And we are here listening to you and we keep quiet and we say, yes, this is my uncle, this is my father, it's not helping us. We are ashamed. Everywhere we walk, we are being asked, how are we going to answer that we have a government? We don't have, because there's nothing to show for. So this 2018 peace agreement, if you want to jump out of it using election name, it will not happen. You will remain in this 2018 until you finish. If you don't finish this, there's no going ahead. You step down. This is the solution. Step down. Because this 2018 R-axis have defeated you. You try to implement, it became disabled. You delay, now you caused insecurity, and you want to jump out of it. Who will solve this problem? It cannot happen. You must solve this one before you talk about election. Census is very important. Constitution is very important. Without these two, then what election are you talking about? This is the same problem that you want to cause. And you want us to be the one to create problem for ourselves. So that tomorrow you'll come and say, it was you who elected us. Huh? It cannot happen. If South Sudanese will lie to themselves, then they will know you will have another 20 years to go. And we will not accept. Even if that is the last thing that we are going to do on this earth, we will work so hard. We will not sleep. Even if we have to stop eating, we will make sure that we fight to the last minute and that you must remain in 2018. If you don't finish this 2018 peace agreement and fix it and make it better, just like the way you put it in paper, then there's no going ahead. If we go ahead, we are not going with you. And there must be a permanent constitution. Don't lie to yourself. Don't dream that you will do election without census and counting people is very important. You need to know how many people. Are we having 7 million? Are we having 8 million? Are we having 13